All right. Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm super excited for the gentleman that's with me today, Joe Marcoux. He's the creator of the SOS, or the Sales Objection System. He is the founder of an elite sales training coaching program called the SOS Dojo. And Joe has personally trained, aside from just being a phenomenal salesperson himself, which he can tell us about that when we ask about his background, but he has trained some of the top salespeople in the world. His company, the SOS Dojo, they've been the go-to sales trainer for Fortune 500 companies like Fit Body Boot Camp, Pedigo Electric Bikes. Joe recently spoke at another Fortune 500 company recently, and he's a man in demand. So I'm super excited to have him here. On a personal note, though, I have to add this. Joe is an even better human than he is a sales trainer. He is one of the most admirable men that I've ever met in my entire life. And one of the things that I think makes Joe so amazing is that he genuinely cares about helping other people have success. You know, he is as much as invested as you could be in his coaching program. He wants you to have success. And I've seen him work with people not in his coaching program and help them achieve success. He is the picture definition of a go-giver. And I'm blessed to call him a true friend of mine, a brother of mine. When a client of mine, they're having sales challenges, my reply is very standard. It's, you need to talk to Joe. So with all that, Joe, welcome to my YouTube channel, brother.
Hey, I'm so honored to be here, my man. Listen, what an introduction. I mean, what's interesting is, right, sales is about energy and it's about relationships. And one of the things that we have is this amazing relationship and the energy that we both bring to the table. It's like, I know I'm a high energy person, highest energy wins. You bring it, man. And it's so much fun whenever we get together on a Zoom call or this kind of environment, live and in person. It's just like the vibration is so great. And again, I say the same thing about you, my man. It's an honor and a privilege. Thank you, brother. It's an honor to be here, and I hope everybody's going to get a ton of value because I'm here to give. So let's go.
I know they will. I know they will 100%. I have to add, Joe, so like I've told you this, but other people haven't heard this. When people who knew you before they met me, and within the first 5 minutes, they said, you really remind me of Joe Marcoux. You guys just have to meet. And so there was an event that you and I went to. We both spoke at this event in Cancun, Mexico for Craig Valentine, a coach and friend and mentor to both of us. And, of course, like you hit it out of the park,
So did you.
Thank you. And
what were the odds?
What were the odds out of all the hotel rooms that our rooms would be touching? And sure enough, they were. And so the rest is history. So good.
There's a thing that whether I'm a believer in God, and I'll tell you what, that's a serendipitous moment. There's something there. There's divine intervention. What Carl Jung would say is synchronicity. And there's this synchronous thing, like Wayne Dyer used to say that when you are in that vibration, that faculties and things will come alive and make things align for you. And so that's an example. I got goosebumps, man. Look at that.
Yeah, man. I know. It's wild, man. It's so good. I love to see stuff line up like that. And that has blossomed into not only a great friendship, but you and I having a business partnership where I'm now, working inside of the SOS Dojo to help our clients out with marketing and messaging and leads.
Because you're the marketing sensei.
So it's been a blast. It's been a total blast. But I want to dive in and just, selfishly, I got a bunch of questions I want to have answered myself, but also for the audience that's watching this. So, Joe, you've had this long career. Before we get into the actual question, can you give us like the Reader's Digest version as to like, how do you go from who you started off as to becoming one of the top sales trainers in the world? How does that happen in your career?
I'm standing on the shoulders of giants. There's no question about it. I would say 95 to 99% of everything that I give back to others, I mean, truthfully, it's 100% because none of it's mine. It's come from somewhere and it comes through me. I am this vessel of information. Now, I have to still go and do the work. And it started off in my late teens when I got involved in the exercise equipment industry and I learned about sales. And some of the first sales trainers and coaches that I met, there was a guy by the name of Jim Rohn. At the age of 18, I got the opportunity to work with Jim Rohn, and Mr. Rohn was amazing. And I learned so much with my time with him. And what was fascinating is that if you know anybody else who might be a great sales person and sales coach, it's this guy, Tony Robbins. My father gave me cassette tapes of Personal Power. And that was my first foray in. I was about 16 when I got Personal Power, the box set of cassette tapes, and so it was Tony Robbins. Then going into Jim Rohn, who happened to be Tony Robbins's coach, and so like mind blowing. Then getting into entrepreneurship myself and owning a business at the age of 20 years old, owning a retail store selling high ticket exercise equipment for people's homes and also doing commercial sales for gyms, for corporate fitness, for hotels. I mean, I was 20. I think about it now. I've got children that are in their late 20s and early 30s, and it's like 20 years old. And blinders were on, and I'm like, I was on a mission, and I'm on a mission now. And so as a retailer back then, I needed to learn skills of how to create relationships with people, and having people that were literally twice my age or older trust in this young person to want to spend their hard-earned dollars to be able to live a better quality of life through the benefits of total health and exercise, which is a mission of mine as well. So interestingly enough, I went and learned because I needed to get better at sales. I mean, I made this huge investment. I had money that I needed to pay back to the government that I had borrowed, and they had co-signed a loan to get this project started. And I'll tell you what, I learned from Brian Tracy, Chet Holmes, T. Harv Eker, Mark Victor Hansen and Jack Canfield. I did work with both of these guys. Blair Singer. Then we go then there's other greats, Grant Cardone, and I mean the names go on. I'm drawing a blank because I've done work. Zig Ziglar. I have gone and learned, and I've spent literally hundreds of thousands of dollars to learn from experts. And then also be able to place myself in rooms with other people that wanted to do the same. And it's phenomenal. And so from there, I'll fast forward in terms of my career. I sold my fitness business when I got involved with a company nationally where we went from 7 locations to 38 in 18 months. And it was all sales related. I learned very quickly that it was a question of putting together a system. And this was interesting. When I was younger, I thought sales was about an art. And sales is not an art form. Sales is a process. And sales is constantly evolving. Because now, as you know, you're an AI expert, things are changing. And so what was following a certain scripted process now is following a roadmap. And what we learn is, how can I do it in such a way where I can be authentic in my own way? Because everybody's got their own voice. And yet you still need to learn the process. Sales is a process. Once you know the process, it's like knowing how to bake a cake. There is a recipe to baking a cake. And then when you know it, then you can start spicing it up the way that you want to. And it's no different than a piece of music. I can give you, okay, I want you to hear the notes, do the notes, and then when you got the notes down, get rid of this and do it again, because repetition is the mother of all skill. And then when you get it so good that then it's not that you're looking at the notes, you're playing the music.
Love that. I love that analogy. And it makes sense, especially like you've played a sport, you've played an instrument, anything that needs to be done. It's just practice, right? I gotta ask my wife, like, honey, how do you cook these meals that are so, like, are you following a recipe? And she's like, well, there's a plan.
Sort of.
Over the years, I've just learned that a little dash of this, a little dash of that, take this away, add this, it adds to the melody of flavors.
And that's just it, right? I mean, I remember reading a quote about reckless abandon. There's 2 places about reckless abandon that you can have, and it's in the bedroom and in the kitchen. So, I mean,
yes.
Right? And both are a process.
Absolutely. They're a process. And it doesn't work the same way every single time, you know? I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. So this is a great segue then to some of the questions that I have for you, Joe. You know, you and I both work with a lot of entrepreneurs, right? And you know, entrepreneurs, we are a crazy breed of individual. Just
Yes,
look
we
at
are.
us here, right?
Oh yeah.
What do you see that are some of the biggest challenges that you see with entrepreneurs and sales?
So most entrepreneurs that I know, their biggest challenge is that they want to pawn off sales to someone else. And the problem with that is that's the worst thing that you can do. Because of the authenticity of being the entrepreneur and or the leader, and you could be an army of one, it's your world. If you want to grow and scale a team, it's your world. So what's the messaging? You've got to be able to put together your process in your own authentic voice, and you have ownership on that to help it evolve so that once you have your process in place, and whether you want to call it a script or just a roadmap, it's got to be your own. It's like that. Okay, there's a foundational recipe that you've got. Now you've got to make it your own. What makes your chicken different than their chicken? Like, I mean, it's still chicken, but yeah, like there's some people that's like, hey, their recipe is completely different. Whether you like KFC, Chick-fil-A, Popeyes, or going to a really nice restaurant in Laguna Beach. I mean, they've got to come down to it. You got to cook it to a certain temperature to be able to put it out on the plate, right? It's the same thing. Do you have this process in place, and are you authentic in it? So I go back to when we went from Fitness Depot having 7 locations to 38 in 18 months, there was a process, and it was literally on one page, and it was the simplicity of it. And I've got a book from a guy by the name of Tom Peters that's up on my shelf. It's called Reimagine. And in it, he says, simplicity is elegance. That's the other part. Like, people hate sales. The entrepreneur hates the idea of sales, most of them.
Yeah.
So they want to pawn it off on someone else. Meanwhile, it's their thing. And it needs to be something that the skill that they need to take ownership on and make it simple so that simplicity is elegant. That's when you can scale it. You can go from 7 locations to 38 in a short period of time.
That's what I'm really curious about, Joe, because, you know, I'll have salespeople that, or entrepreneurs that come in and say, I'm not a salesperson. I want to hire somebody to be my salesperson or pawn it off on them, right? So if I understand what you're saying correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's that as a solopreneur, we need to take ownership of our own sales process to begin.
Yes.
We need to have our process. And once we have that process dialed in, then we can begin to recruit and train others to take that mantle. Is that accurate?
It's accurate, and it goes even deeper than that because it comes down to a sense of what is your most important set. And the people in the fitness space will say, well, okay, it's the third set, it's the last set. And it's a trick question. It's not anything other than your mindset. There's 3 sets truly that we're dealing with. The entrepreneur comes in with the right heart set. They're coming in with a big heart and they want to help people. The thing is they don't want to be judged by others and they're afraid of hearing no. And so they hate sales. That affects your mindset. You can have a great heart set without the right mindset. And so how do you build this? Well, you've got to build your skill set. When you get better with the skill set of the process of sales in your own authentic voice, it will positively make an impact on your mindset, which obviously will find alignment with your heart set or your soul set. So this is all part and parcel. So you and I have worked with someone, for example, like Jonathan Tate, Dr. Jonathan Tate. He came into the dojo and he took ownership of the sales process to start. And he developed his own voice. Then he got to a point where it was like, okay, I'm going to bring in team members. And then he removed himself. He literally sold himself out of the job so that he could do what? Scale. That's the point.
Yes. Love that. Okay, so you are in, you've founded the SOS, right? Sales Objection System.
Yeah.
What do you see as something that causes the most sales objections for people?
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I've got a series of videos of the 15 mistakes salespeople make and how
I was hoping you were going to mention that.
Yeah.
So I wanted to set you up for that.
Sure.
where first off, where can people find you and where can people see this
So
series?
they can go to sosdojo.com. They can go to @SOS Dojo. Look up Joe Marcoux on LinkedIn. And you can visit our school group. And I've got a ton of free resources for you. And like it's free for now. Eventually, it's going to be So to answer your question, one of the biggest mistakes that salespeople make. Number one, if anything, they don't build rapport. Like, let's just start from the beginning. They don't have the basics of the recipe, so they don't build rapport, and they're pitch, and they repel. There's 3 C's of sales that people need to have. You need to have confidence, so people believe you. You need to have conviction, so people believe in you, and you also need to have control. And again, this is the skill, because if you don't have the control, then what you end up doing is you repel people, you push people away. And you don't know how to use the tools that God has given you, which are, your body language, your tone of voice, your pacing, and the energy that you bring. So it's not about scripting. It's about understanding your guest. And again, part of this is mindset. Are you speaking to a prospect, or are you speaking to someone that you want to turn into a friend? Because ultimately you make a connection, right? I come back to they don't build rapport. So that's a huge mistake. If you don't build rapport, you don't build know, like, and trust, people won't buy. Nobody wants to be sold. They want to choose to buy. So in this new age of sales, it's really, how do I network, meet people, build a relationship, which leads to a friendship, which leads to opportunity, which could lead to a sale. And what is a sale? It's ultimately understanding that I'm here to serve. Selling is serving. That's it. As opposed to, I'm going to close at all costs. Like that, those days are long gone. And unfortunately, there's a stigma with sales that hits. So that's a big problem, rapport. Another one is there's no development in terms of understanding your guest. And I'm talking like how to win friends and influence people. Like Dale Carnegie, or Carnegie, depending on how you want to pronounce it, he actually nails it. In one sentence, it's don't try to be interesting. Be interested.
Yes.
Big problem with salespeople today is that they talk. Telling isn't selling. So what questions can you put together on a template that are appropriate, that get you to understand your guest so well that you can better understand what their goals are? And I talk about SMART goals being specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and timely. And then when we take these SMART goals, we could then better understand what their emotions are. Like, okay, salespeople sell features. Great salespeople sell outcomes. The top world-class salespeople sell emotion. They sell feelings.
Yeah, that resonate. I mean, that resonates massively. I was just, I was in Vegas for Funnel Hacking Live a few weeks ago in Vegas, and Tony Robbins spoke, and he said one of the big things that you business owners forget is that when people are buying, they're not buying a home, they're not buying a piece of equipment, they're buying a state. Right? They're buying the emotional state that your product or service is going to give them. So when someone's buying a home, it's not, a foundation, 4 walls, a roof, and windows. It's warmth, it's happiness, it's joy, it's Christmas together as a family, it's Thanksgiving dinner in this, warm environment, it's love.
It's pride and ownership.
Right? Pride of ownership. Yes, exactly.
How do you feel about this? How do you feel about your house? How do you feel about your home? It's like, I'm proud, right? This is a place of love, of where people get together and they share. You break bread with family and friends. Are you kidding me? More goosebumps.
I love it. I love it. I wanted to ask you something, Joe, because I noticed, anybody that's listening to you for the first time is going to notice some subtleties in the language that you use. And I know what it is, but I want the audience to recognize this. You refer to people that are traditionally known as prospects as guests. I
Yes.
know the reason behind it, but can you please explain why do you refer to somebody that you're selling to as a guest?
Sure, and this all comes back to a Wayne Dyerism, again, another person who I've done work with, and so blessed to be able to. And you can all follow some of his teachings. Is that he used to say, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. How does that going to affect me here, and how's that going to affect me here? So imagine, Galel, you and I are in the middle of a what I call a buying conversation as opposed to a sales call, right? Again, another, it's not just a catch on words. It's really, I'm here to help you make a decision to buy. And you can also say no, and that's fair. Okay. Now you're a guest of mine on the call or on in the meeting, you're a guest. Even if I go to your place of business, I'm going to come to you as I'm going to lead and you're going to be my guest in this context. So imagine, God forbid, that my ringer was on and my phone rang and I would say something like, hang on, Galel, I apologize. It's my wife. Shauna, hey, can I call you back? I'm actually speaking with a prospect right now. Like nobody would say that, right? No, right? And this is the interesting thing. Like nobody would say it, and yet that's what you think it. Like I'm going to have a meeting with a prospect. Well, what you think about, you bring about. So if they're a prospect, they're going to feel it because it's, oh yeah, money. That's all they want. If you think and you switch it and you go, okay, they're my guest, and just listen to how this sounds. Yeah, Shauna, hey, listen, I'm actually speaking with a guest right now. Can I call you back? Like, how does that make you feel? Because you are. So this is, and what prompted this is back when I was a child, literally I was like 4 or 5 years old. I remember my grandparents, Marcel, who like, I swear to you, he's looking down on me. And I have his picture. Oh yeah, it's on my desk. And Grand-Père Marcel would give up his bedroom whenever guests came over. Let's say it blew my mind. Like it because the guests got VIP treatment. That's how we should be treating people that have booked a call with us and or are coming into our place of business. So there's a lot of retailers that I'll deal with, whether you're an online coach or in a retail environment, and they could be existing customers. Like somebody becomes a customer when they're paying you. Okay, that's fine. They're still VIP. When they're a future client or a guest, you treat them as such. Yeah, it's just game changing.
It's such a mindset shift that I know as an entrepreneur, and I started young like you did, and I remember early on almost like looking back as a 42-year-old man, I'm ashamed of how I was back then, right? And I realize it's just immaturity, lack of experience, lack of life, experience. But I remember looking at people as if they had dollar signs over their heads.
Sure.
And I look back at who that guy was, and I wish I could, smack him upside the head, but then show him a little tough love. And now I've noticed that as I change my focus to impacting people's lives and just helping somebody live better, a lighter load on their shoulders, if they're down, helping lift them up, and just truly chasing that impact, the money flows, man.
Oh, yeah.
Like, have you found that in sales?
Yeah, I mean, you could. What's interesting is that when your heart's coming into the right place, and you could be fearless. Again, and sales has evolved. I mean, I remember when it used to be the features, advantages, benefits. Right? It's like tell them about the features and the advantages and the benefits to them, and it was literally tell. If your heart's in the right place and you've got the right energy, you'll still get some reasonable results. Some people get results because they're entertaining. However, if you go in with that same level of intensity and that care, and you have a process that it comes in where I'm here to understand you, and then I'm going to be able to solve this problem for you. Or if I can't, I'm going to recommend the person that can. And that's really from a heart-centered place. The world is your oyster. So then it becomes, what's the North Star? Is it the money, or is it, okay, the amount of reviews I get, positive reviews, the amount of referrals I get, or the amount of testimonials that I get, or just the fact that I've actually made somebody feel good. Because if you help somebody, like if they feel good, even if they don't buy, if they're feeling good, you will get another call with them. So Yeah, it's game changing. The energy aspect of this cannot be understated. Like there's other sales coaches that are out there, their energy level is on high. And I don't agree with some of the other things that I see out there in terms of their behaviors. Their energy is so strong, it's a magnet, and that's what's missing. A lot of people salespeople or people entrepreneurs, they don't want to come across as pushy, so their energy level is like literally a 2. Or it's come on, like you got to be excited about what you have to offer. You've got to believe, and they've got to feel that from you. It's palpable.
Yeah, no, I love that. I have to have you back, Joe. So I hope you know.
100%. Let's go.
Okay, beautiful, beautiful. Because we got just a couple minutes left, and I know you are a man on a mission. You got a lot of stuff happening right now, which is amazing. Last question for you. This is kind of like, tied to the last thing, but it's kind of on the other extreme.
Sure.
What are your thoughts on this phrase? Quote, I can sell anything to anyone at any time.
Bullshit.
Why is that
I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna call it for what it is. Listen, there's no way that you're gonna get 100% of the sales 100% of the time. It's impossible. And then what that does is it sets up this expectation. So I like to believe that if you do a great job, you're going to have an 80% close rate. And I can tell you that we have some of my own students have done significantly better than that. To be consistent at 100% of the time, there's a couple of things that come up here where it's either your prices are like, just, it doesn't make any sense, or you could, even in some cases, I can tell you, you could give it away and there's going to be people that will not want to buy from you. And that's okay. Like an 80% close rate is an exceptional close rate. It's like 1% top producer. And just because somebody says no, which is great, by the way, I would much rather have a no than a maybe, because it's not the no's that kill you, it's the maybes. So the idea that, hey, I'm going to be able to sell anything, that's somebody who's like a teller, and a real seller is, hey, you know what? I want to go into this call. It's like somebody says, why should I consider you? And the answer is, well, I don't know if you should. Because really, I don't know if we're aligned yet. So let's do this. Let's have some conversation and make sure that we're both in alignment, because what I bring to the table that could potentially help you, I'm not sure if we're in alignment yet. Fair enough. And then we do that. We have a conversation. And this gives me the ability to say, you know what? You're not necessarily the best fit, and that's okay. And then you can recommend a place where they can go and get the help that they need.
That. Joe, you have dropped like absolute gold today in just the short period. I mean, this feels like a short time. 27 minutes have flown by, dude. Like, this is just life with
Let's
Joe,
go.
man. I love it. So I'm going to put it down below the comments where people can find you, but sosdojo.com, on Instagram at SOS Dojo. LinkedIn is Joe Marcoux, spelled Marcous, because
X marks the spot, baby.
X marks the spot. I love it, man. From Winnipeg all the way down to Orange County, my man. It's great.
Love you, brother. Thank you so much.
Man, I appreciate you. Thank you on behalf of the audience for this absolute gold. And you're going to come back, whether you want to or not.
100%.
You're going to be here.
You got it. I'm honored and
brother.
privileged.
Thank you so much, my man.